Ladies, gentlemen, and Kinsect mains of all ages, in patch 1.021 we had a major shift to our equipment with the addition of random appraisal talismans. We had some skill rebalancing and some changes to Insect Glaive 2, which is just a bunch of nice bonuses as a weapon, boosting the damage of various attacks, and the effectiveness of the backwards pole vault as a little bonus too. So today let's talk about what the new best builds are for Insect Glaive, including the best possible talismans that you can get for this weapon now and why. It'll be covering one build that has the straight up highest EFR, or effective raw, the most potential damage output over an average hunt, and we'll also have one build that does not use the latent power skill, as a lot of people dislike how that skill feels and the ebbs and flows of its gameplay. That to say, when I'm showing the builds properly, I will be showing them around God-roll talismans, but I'll also be talking about other talismans that will fit, and what you need to just make it past an actual crafted talisman in value. As well, both builds work with the crafted talismans, they are just a little bit less potent. So that said, Insect Glaive is feeling really good right now to me. The balance compared to monster health, even in 9-star monster hunts, is feeling really good in the right setup. I'm getting sub 10 minute kills on 9-star 5-star with Duna, which is quite solid given that I personally am far from a perfect hunter. All that covered then, let's start with your weapon of choice, which is the same for both builds, and it's the Artian Insect Glaive. You could make arguments for the lagiacrus Insect Glaive instead for Thunder Element specifically, but the loss in decoration slots on that weapon actually makes it less worth it now because the talisman skills can be what they are in the god rolls that we can get, especially for Insect Glaive, which you will see why when we talk about weapon decorations in a little bit. The ideal Artian Insect Glaive then is an element matching your target's weakness, so ideally you will have 5 separate Insect Glaives for this, but the most important ones to cover your bases are a Dragon Insect Glaive, which isn't resisted by any of the apexes, and now a Thunder Insect Glaive as well is quite good for a number of the 9-star monsters. But for maximum efficiency, you want 1 Insect Glaive for each element. You want to make the glaive have 3 attack parts ideally, and then for the reinforcements, your perfect roll is 2 sharpness boosts and then 3 attack boosts as well, with the 2 sharpness boost rolls being basically a requirement for comfortable use of the weapon, and the attack boost just being extra offense on top. Next up, let's talk talismans, as this is now a major topic after this patch. For crafted talismans as a base, the weakness exploit charm for 2 ranks of weakness exploit is ideal for both of our builds today. The perfect god roll for the main build is this talisman right here, but with 2 more 1-slot armor sockets on it too, so it would be 3 attack boost, 1 burst, or 1 weakness exploit, both result in the same thing. Either option fits just fine, and then 1 weapon and 2 armor slot sockets as 1 slots. Realistically, any other weapon skill as the first one would also be acceptable as long as it affects damage in some capacity, and there are also talismans that are 2 ranks of 1 weapon skill and another rank of a separate skill. You could do something like airborne / 1 attack, and that would technically be the same value as long as you still have the 1 rank of burst or weakness exploit. That also works. Realistically, if you have the 1 rank of that and then any sort of weapon skill that matters for you, you do probably have an upgrade over the crafted talisman. But the god roll is 3 attack, 1 burst or weakness exploit, 1 weapon decoration slot, and then the 2 armor decoration slots are just a cherry on top as well. Realistically, this is around a 3.8% damage increase over just the default craftable weakness exploit talisman in the same build. So while that is definitely a meaningful increase, it's not at all the end of the world if you don't have this. As for the best talisman for the second build, it is super similar: 3 attack boost or equivalently useful weapon skills, then 1 rank of either burst or weakness exploit, and then a 2 slot is your required socket for this one. You need that. And then you can also get an extra 1 slot over the one here too, but that's just bonus defense or utility. The most important parts here are the 1 rank of burst or weakness exploit and the 2 slot socket so that we can fit our 1 rank of earplugs required for the weapon to be used ideally. And this one is a little bit easier to find than the rarity 8 one for the main build, as rarity 7 talismans are easier to get than rarity 8, so your chances are a little bit higher. Moving on then, let's talk about the armor set for our first build, and this is the main best build, the one that does have latent power. And for the sake of mentioning it, the main reason that people don't like latent power is if you are playing well, it won't activate early, and the uptime and downtime periods are so long that for shorter hunts that Wilds is full of, the actual value of the skill is pretty inconsistent. But with 9-star tempered hunts now being the main thing that people are farming, the monsters do hit you much harder. This makes it easier to activate latent power through the secondary condition, and the hunts also last much longer, which makes latent power's value more consistent as well. That said, the armor for this one is the Duna Gamma helmet, lagiacrus beta chest, Raydao Gamma gloves and waist, and then then the lagiacrus beta legs. This gets us the Raid Out 2-set bonus for longer duration on latent power itself, the Lord Soul 3-piece group bonus for both the 5% damage increase in general, but also the Guts effect itself giving you once per life protection from a cart, which is especially valuable right now in my opinion too, because again, 9-star quests are pretty brutal. We also have the lagiacrus 2-set bonus on this as well, which does multiple things, but the best way to think of it is as an occasional pop of lightning damage that then gives you bonus crit chance for a short duration afterwards, and it has a limit to how often it can actually happen. For weapon decorations, for this build at least, these are the same whether you have crafted talisman or the god roll. Either way, you can run airborne / attack. Airborne is a 10% bonus damage on any attacks done with your feet in the air, which importantly includes a lot of descending slash as one of our most commonly used attacks, and the entirety of rising spiral slash, which is our largest damage attack by far. If you have the god roll talisman, the 1 rank of attack on this as well then combines with the 3 attack that's on the talisman. If you pop in another rank of attack in the weapon decoration slot on the talisman, you then get a full 5 ranks of attack boost for both a nice flat raw increase and a % raw bonus too. In your other 2 slots, then you want to grab the full ranks of crit boost, as that's just extremely valuable, especially now that we're able to fit it with 5 attack boost. Basically, these appraisal talismans let us max out both attack and crit boost together, which is why Insect Glaive specifically gets one of the larger gains from these new RNG talismans if you get one that's good enough. As for your other decorations in the armor then, 1 Mighty Jewel to help us finish off maximum might, which is a very valuable skill for us, giving us 30% affinity when full stamina, and Insect Glaive's ground moveset doesn't use any stamina, which is the majority of our damage output, so it is very reliable to have this active on this weapon. We then take 3 ranks of counter strike through 3 counter jewels here for a pile of bonus attack that triggers either after you get hit by the monster or after most successful offset attacks as well, as the hyper armor effect does stop you from getting knocked back, but not the skill itself from triggering when you get hit. We can keep this at extremely high uptime through this combination of activations, and on top of that, the mantle that I generally recommend for counter-strike using weapons is the Rocksteady mantle, as you can trigger counter-strike by being hit while wearing this mantle, but without getting flinched, which is a great extra benefit on top of Rocksteady in itself being quite good with the damage reduction it offers right now. For technically maximum offense though, you would want to use the corrupted mantle instead, but I personally am a diehard Rocksteady believer. Then for your remaining 3-slot decoration sockets, your top priority is getting weakness exploit to rank 5. Your second priority is 1 rank of burst, as the first rank of burst is extremely valuable. And the third priority, if you have both of those fully sorted, would be to get 1 rank of agitator. By this what I mean is the crafted talisman version of this build gets 2 weakness exploit from the talisman, so you would then want to use these 2 slots on 1 burst and 1 agitator. My personal talisman has 1 burst, so instead I use 2 weakness exploit. If your talisman had 1 weakness exploit, you would use 1 weakness exploit decoration and 1 burst decoration. After that, you will have 2 1-slot decorations as well to use for utility or defense, and then any that you have in your talisman as well. The full list of skills for this then is 5 attack boost, 5 critical boost, 1 airborne, 5 weakness exploit, 3 latent power, 3 counter strike, 3 maximum might, 2 peak performance, 2 divine blessing is from my 1-slot sockets, and then 2 evade extender, 1 burst, 1 stamina surge, and 1 rank of earplugs, which combined with the buff we get from having all 3 extracts from our kinsect is the equivalent of 2 ranks of earplugs, which then blocks out like 95% of monster roars that currently exist in wilds. We also have the Raid Out 2-set bonus, lagiacrus 2-set bonus, and then the Lord Soul group bonus as well. For the math on this set then, for those who want it, 220 attack on the weapon, then Lord Soul is 5% of your weapon attack as a bonus, which is plus 11 raw. Attack boost 5 gives you 4% of your weapon's attack as a bonus, which would be 8.8 raw. Attack boost 5 also separately gives you 9 flat raw as an increase. We gain 25 raw attack from Counter-Strike rank 3, and then we have 2 ranks of peak performance, which is plus 6 raw attack when you're at full health. For 9-star monsters specifically, you pretty much always want to be full health to avoid being killed by most attacks. You will be at max health more often than you would be in lower tier hunts generally, I would say, so I will count this at around 50% uptime just to be fair to this. So it's plus 3 raw attack just as a bonus. We also get an extra 8 raw from burst 1 because Insect Glaive is a weapon that can consistently keep the full bonus active, especially for its strongest attacks due to how the descending slash into rising spiral slash combo works in general. You're unlikely to not hit 5 times before you get to the meaty damage. That puts us at 284.8 raw attack. We have 5% affinity on the weapon itself, 30% from 5 ranks of weakness exploit when hitting weak body parts, 3 ranks of latent power is 30%, counting it at 65% uptime would make it 19.5% affinity on average. Add on 30% 20% for 3 ranks of maximum might, and then the lagiacrus 2-set bonus is 15% bonus affinity when active. The average uptime of this is around 40%, which puts this at a 6% bonus to our affinity on average for a total affinity of 90.5%. We have full crit boost, which means critical hits are a 40% damage increase. A 90.5% chance of a 40% increase is an overall damage boost of 36.2%. 284.8 increased by 36.2% is 387.9 after a little bit of rounding. Increase that by 32% for the white sharpness damage modifier up to 512 effective raw on average, which is honestly really solid. This also goes up an extra 10% for any aerial attacks, which includes Rising Spiral Slash, and for those attacks we have an effective raw of 563.2, which is fantastic. That said, let's now compare this to our second set without latent power, which is a lower affinity in exchange. This second build then is also a Lord Soul and Lagiacrus mix, but with different pieces used, specifically the Raidao Gamma helmet, the Lagiacrus Beta chest and waist, the Raidao Gamma gloves, and then the Duna Gamma legs. This is also the one that uses the Rarity 7 God Roll Talisman that we talked about earlier, and again, if you don't have it, the Crafted Weakness Exploit Charm is perfectly acceptable as a replacement. You just lose a little bit of offense off the top, as you would have to replace a rank of agitator with earplugs. For the decorations then, starting with the weapon, it's the same as the first build. Airborne slash attack on the first 3-slot socket here gives us airborne, which is great, and that 1 rank of attack combined with the 3 attack boost on the Rarity 7 Talisman is just enough to break into 4 attack boost. This is the first % attack boost bonus from the effect, and we've also got full crit boost as well in these decorations, but if you don't have the God Roll Talisman, what you would want to do instead is have an attack 3 decoration instead of the crit boost 2 decoration. The end result of that would be having 4 attack boost and 3 crit boost, which is the nicest way to even this out and actually increase your damage overall. On our armor decorations, we want to go priority for the 3 slots again. Highest priority is getting Weakness Exploit to maximum ranks. Second priority is getting 1 rank of Burst, and then any remaining 3 slots past that can be used for Agitator as a bonus. For our 2-slot sockets, you need 1 rank of Maximum Might to finish that skill off to 3 ranks, and then 3 decorations of Counter-Strike for the full powered version of the skill. Then you have 4 1-slot sockets left over to fill with defense or utility as you please, as well as any bonus that you have on your Talisman too. For the full skill list on this one, with the God Roll, it's 5 critical boost, 4 attack boost, airborne, 5 weakness exploit, 3 agitator, 3 counter-strike, 3 maximum might, 3 divine blessing from my 1-slot sockets, 3 quick sheath, 2 stamina surge, 2 evade extender, 1 rank of burst, 1 rank of earplugs, and then 1 rank of shock absorber from one of my sockets as well, which is a good thing to have around for multiplayer. We have the Lagiacrus 2-set bonus. We also have the Lord Soul group bonus on this as well. For the math on this one, we'll go a little bit quicker than we did for the first build. 220 attack on the weapon itself, 11 attack gained from the Lord Soul group bonus, plus 4.4 from the % increase portion of attack boost, plus 8 from the flat raw increase of attack boost, plus 7.8 for agitator rank 3 counted at 65% uptime, plus 25 for 3 ranks of counter-strike, plus 8 for the 1 rank of burst, which puts us at 284.2 raw. 5% affinity on the weapon itself, 30% from weakness exploit 5, 4.55% from agitator 3 at 65% uptime, 30% from maximum might, and 6% from Lagiacrus 2-set bonus at 40% uptime for a total of 75.55% affinity. We have crit boost 5, which makes critical hits worth 40% bonus damage. 75.55% chance of a 40% bonus damage is an average damage increase of 30.22%. Increase our raw attack by that amount and you get 370.1. Increase that by a further 32% for white sharpness damage modifier for a final effective raw of 488.5. This is around 4.8% weaker on paper than the latent power set is, but in practice it's probably closer to around 3 to 4% due to the way that latent power works and occasional overcapping on affinity as well. But the point being, this is still a totally viable option to use if you don't like using latent power. It just is weaker according to the math, but just not by a massive amount either. That just about does it for today then everyone. 2 separate Insect Glaive builds for doing maximum damage in the latest patch for Monster Hunter Wilds. I hope you've enjoyed this and hopefully it helps you out in working out any changes you want to make for your new talismans moving forwards. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.